How you doing, everyone? It's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. I hope you're all doing really well and looking forward to the week ahead. Now, I've got a gameplay video for you, ladies and gentlemen, today, and it's a game called Decay of Logos, and it's a fantasy RPG that I've been looking forward to for quite some time. It is an indie game, but one that's very ambitious. Now, you can purchase this particular game on the Nintendo Switch on the 29th of August is when it drops, and you can purchase this for $19.99 if you're based in the USA. If you're based in the UK, it's £17.99, and if you're based in Europe, then you're looking at €19 and 99 cents. Now, to give you a little bit of background about this game, this is all about you unraveling mysteries. It's one of those games that doesn't hold your hand. And leave me a comment in the comments section down below. Let me know what you think this game's taken its inspiration from. There's a couple of games that come to mind for me, but I'm sure you've played enough games in your time and you'll have some games that this definitely reminds you of. I'm going to mention one of those in this because I feel that it has quite a lot of relevance to this particular game. And I'm going to take you through sort of first 10-15 minutes. There was an embargo, or there is an embargo of the 22nd of August that we're then allowed to sort of release our reviews and gameplay videos and streams and stuff like that. Thing is, I've had the game for around, I don't know, 24, 48 hours, something like that. And it was clear to me right away that that just wouldn't be enough time to give you, ladies and gentlemen, a fair review of the game. So I thought it would be nicer to sort of talk about it and give you some impressions, some feelings that I have about the game, some good stuff, some bad stuff, and then you can sort of, make a little bit of an informed decision as to whether this one is for you. And then what I'll do is I will review the game closer to the release if that's what you want from this. Now, here you're embarking on a journey of revenge. If you don't want any spoilers here, then you're going to have to switch away. There's going to be a little bit of spoilers, especially when you're playing the game from the beginning, so apologies about that, but I will give you some information in regards to what it's about. You're sort of on a journey of revenge, and betrayal is set in motion by the destruction of the young adventurer's village at the hands of what they're called Crimson Knights. The protagonist's name here is Ada, and this is who you control, and you build the bond with the elk that you meet pretty much early on. You can feed the elk, you can build a bond, cuddle it, and it helps you in the game's puzzles. So what I want to do here is just take you through some of the gameplay mechanics and talk about the game and its challenges. And we'll start in this beginning area that loads up. And I just want to quickly mention the visual art style. The visual art style for me is the type of stuff that really gets me intrigued about a world. And if that's not right, it doesn't grab me, then I kind of lose interest in a game quite quickly. But the art style here is something I've been looking forward to playing, and I'm glad that it didn't disappoint when I loaded up the game itself, especially the introduction. Now, at the beginning area, if you want to think of this, if you've played Dark Souls, then this is kind of, training grounds, shall we say. There's quite a few rune stones around that you can get some tips from, and it will teach you the sort of buttons that you need to press, the mechanics of the game. Now, if you've played, as I say, if you've played Dark Souls, you'll kind of be used to the dodging mechanics and stuff like that. But this is where you start in the game, and I was just kind of running around looking for getting sort of familiar with the controls, getting used to the game itself. And it's quite nice and controllable, and the camera itself, is staying behind the character, not jumping all over the place, which is, what I sometimes feel is a downfall in games like this if it's not sort of done properly. There are some problems though that I did notice, some technical issues which I really hope they sort out before they release the game, because it's something that seems to plague the Nintendo Switch at times, especially on indie games, and that is a slowdown that I encountered. When you're sort of moving around like this quite slowly, it's fine, but when you start running or sprinting, you can really see that the game starts to chug a little bit, and it's a little bit of a shame. It really does take a little bit away from the experience. So got to mention that because it's what I've come across, but then again, it could be just due to the early review copy that we have here. So this is one of those runestones that I was talking about, and they'll give you all sorts of tips and stuff like that that you can find out how to sort of play, but you probably get used to it really quickly. What I did find that in this game at the beginning, you've got to be super cautious, because if you're not, any small creature is going to just take you down. You wouldn't believe it, like a little bouncing creature will just kill you in a couple of hits, because when you begin, you've literally got nothing. You've got no armor, no protection for your character. You've got this little sword, and that's it. And so you've got nothing, no shield nor anything. So you've got to just explore and find some stuff. But it's a little bit kind of risk versus reward, because you've got to take down the enemies to get items. And if you can't fight the enemies, then you're not going to get the items that you need to make you stronger. And also when you kill the enemies, after a while you do start to level up. There's also resting places. So the more you fight with your character, the more you take damage, and your stats can sort of go right down to 50%. And if you don't rest and sleep, then what happens is you're not going to be able to up your stats again. So you have to kind of balance it all the time. After the first hour, you start getting used to the combat, and once you start beating up the creatures in the very first area, it starts to become a little bit easier. The more sort of better gear you get, and the more you level up. It really does remind me of Dark Souls, how it feels impossible to begin with. You come across a boss and you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to be able to beat this, and then you just go back, grind away some more, and you just get better, and your character becomes better. I really love the detail, by the way, of the potions that are hanging on the belt on the character, and you can sort of choose which one you want to equip so that you can use it quickly. So for example, I've equipped the I think it's called the Hardy Brew, so that I can get a quick health boost if I require it, and believe me, you're going to need it quite a lot. So you've got your health bar, you've also got that blue stamina bar. If you've played games like this before, you're going to know that the stamina bar is used for running, it's used for battling and whatever else. Now on this part here of the game, I've come across this sort of building that I start to explore, find a few items, and I also come across my first real quest. You find this guy, he's locked up, and you need to battle some of these creatures. They're wooden creatures, they're live wooden creatures, and they're a right pain to kill at the beginning, but as I say, once you get a little bit better, it becomes easier to fight them, and I'll show you some of those fight scenes in a second. I really did start to enjoy the battle system here. It's sort of right up my street, really. I really enjoy it a lot. And there's also a few puzzles that you're going to come across as well, like this real easy one where you have to find the lever and then sort of input that lever where it's supposed to go, and all of that kind of stuff, really. How it goes, you don't need me to tell you. And you've got the stamina bar, the blue bar at the bottom, you've got the red bar, which is the health bar, and you're going to be using a lot of health potions in this game, believe me. And the stamina bar is used for things like running, sprinting, and also for just the normal battles in this game, which you're going to come across quite a lot. I came across a really enjoyable area where I actually got to use a little bit of the sort of reason why you've got the elk with you, basically. And here I was just killing a bunch of these wooden foes, and I'd found this axe, which was really quite cool, because if you use the heavy attack you can literally chop their shield, so it becomes utterly useless. But you can see that I can take these guys out now quite proficiently, especially using the light attack with this axe. But you have to make sure you dodge their attacks, because literally a couple of hits and they can take you out pretty quickly, especially at the beginning. One hit is enough to take you down. So when you got sort of when you're one-on-one, you can just about do it, but when you've got multiple foes and they're on you at the same time, then it can become quite a challenge. What I did like, I found as well, is if you go to a resting place, like they call that, you can either pray or you can just go to a resting place, and literally you're sleeping in the middle of the night and you can get ambushed by enemies. So I found that quite interesting, quite a twist on it. So really quite like that. Now with the elk, you can sort of wave it over or whistle for it, and on this I just needed enough weight for it to open the door. So, you know, really simple sort of puzzles that are implemented here as well, but nevertheless it keeps the games flowing. It's enjoyable. You know, it's quite an open world as well. You can actually go wherever you want to go, which is the type of game I like, because it just means that, you know, I can go and explore. Now obviously you'll come across areas where enemies are too tough for you to proceed any further, so you just kind of know that you've got to stay in the same area. Now as you can see, I've taken quite a beating here and I'm about to sort of perish now, so I've gone back to the resting place so that I can have a rest. The only issue with doing this is, if you do have a rest, to make sure that your stats are back up to 100%, all of the enemies are going to respawn in that particular area, which is a little bit painful, but it does give you a chance to continue to level up if you need to do so. So as I get to this zone, you can see here that this is one of the bosses in the area. I try and take him on naively, thinking, you know, yeah, I'm gonna be able to take this guy down, but this is kind of where I perish, and my confidence kind of, you know, I kind of took a beating here, really, to be honest with you. And this is where I'm going to leave the game. I hope that you found the gameplay interesting. Really love to know down below whether you think that this type of game is one that you're looking forward to purchasing. From what I've played so far, I'm really quite addicted. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. I'm enjoying the exploration. I'm enjoying the combat. The mechanics seem solid. There are a few technical issues. I wanted to show you one before I actually went, just so that you could see that sometimes it's happened to me 3 times, and I hope that if the developers are watching this video, they see this, because the character kind of gets caught up in midair and then just dies. So there is a bug there, but despite that, I am actually enjoying it. I think there's a great basis for a game here, and as I say, it is an indie game. So should we cut them a little bit of slack? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're a new watcher here, then don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification so we can notify you when our new videos go live. There could be gameplays, there could be reviews, or feature videos. We get involved in anything Nintendo Switch related. For all of our existing ladies and gentlemen that continue to support us by leaving likes, comments, and are already subscribed and watch all of our videos, just want to give a massive thank you on behalf of the SwitchWatch team and myself. We very much appreciate everything that you do for us. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts on this game, so put those thoughts in writing down below, because you know we'll do our best to answer. My name is Juan Romero from SwitchWatch. I'll see you very soon on the next one. Take care.